Hello everyone, my name is Yoli and this is Artistry Undefined. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do this really pretty and colorful cut crease. Perfect for the summer, very precise. So let's get started. First, I like to start off with my eyebrows. I am using the Anastasia Brow Wiz, as you all know, in the shade Taupe. I like to start off with my eyebrows just because we are going to be using glitter and a lot of color and pigment. And if we start off with the face, I'm very lazy and then we gotta clean up if we have any fallout. So I'd rather just start with the eyebrows and be able to, have fun and make a mess and clean up as we go. You'll be able to see all of that good stuff later on in this video. Next, I'm gonna clean up my brows using NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Vanilla. I like to apply the product in my hand and then flatten it out with the brush, kind of warming it up. And the reason I like to do this is just because it's going to help me get a really nice and flat, precise brush, and we are going to have that nice and crispy line on our brows. My eyebrows are very uneven, as you guys can see. One is definitely more harsh than the other, so that is why I do this process. There are times that I use powder though, just for the sake of natural beauty. Now we're gonna start prepping the eye. This is something I take very seriously. I used my Too Faced Eyeshadow Insurance Primer, and then I go over with the NARS Creamy Concealer again. And this is just to erase any veins or any discoloration we may have on the eyes and make a really nice clean canvas. Now this is a very important step to me. I like to set my primer and that concealer. What this is gonna do is gonna help us with the blending process, and just because it's going to be easier to blend powder into powder than powder into cream, sometimes the eyeshadow can look blotchy when you try to automatically blend it into a cream. I'm using a fluffy brush. This one is by Sephora in number 27, and my Inglot eyeshadow in number 362 is a nice soft pink matte. And then I go in with my NYX Ultimate eyeshadow palette. And this is actually a really nice pigmented palette, guys, and I'm using my number 217 brush by MAC to just get in there. I'm going with this purple color, also in the NYX Ultimate eyeshadow palette, and really deepening that crease. I'm so sorry about the focus. Again, I was working with my brother-in-law in this video, and we are amateurs. But let us know how we did for our first video, you guys. We are not tech savvy people, so this was a big deal for us. So I actually want to bring it in for you guys, and you can see the most important part of the cut crease. I really like to make sure my blending is on point because I need a transition. The most important thing about a cut crease is depth, in my opinion, and how crispy the line is. I'm going to clean the outside, starting from my lower lash line up to the tail of my brow, and we're going to start cutting this crease. I am using MAC Pro Longwear Concealer and basically a lip brush. This one is number 81 by Sephora. The reason I like to use the Pro Wear concealer is just because it has more of a liquid consistency, and if you can treat your cutting the crease process as a liner, you're basically just doing a really big wing liner on your eye, and you're gonna take it all the way up to that crease. You want to make sure you cut your crease a little bit above your natural fold of the eye. You don't want to cut it right on that fold because then you're not going to be able to see it when your eyes are actually open. I'm setting this with an Inglot eyeshadow and another lip brush just so I don't lose that nice perfect edge that we just made. And the eyeshadow is in number 24. This is a really pretty aqua eyeshadow. I love it. It's one of my favorites. You're gonna probably see me using this one a lot. Okay, so one of the most important things for me, like I mentioned previously, is the depth of the crease. I am just taking a number 20 brush by Sephora Collection. This is actually a brow brush, and a shadow by Ingla in number 371, and I'm just placing the color and then flicking it up. And that little flick that you see right there in slow motion for you, it's just gonna help the color transition better into that purple and into the pink and create a really nice ombre effect. Now I'm gonna clean up the sides really nicely, and we are going to move on to liner. So for the liner, I am using Urban Decay's 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Psychedelic Sister. And the reason I'm doing a pencil as opposed to a liquid liner is because it gives me more control, and we're going to be setting it with some eyeshadow to create kind of like an ombre effect. So here you can see me just smooth out that liner, and I'm using Sephora Collection brush in number 26. And I am just smoothing it out, getting that perfect wing. And I'm gonna go ahead and take Ingla eyeshadow in 371 and just set the inner corner. It's that same eyeshadow we used to deepen that crease. And then I'm gonna go with Ingla's eyeshadow in 39 just to create kind of like a almost holographic effect right there in the center of the liner. Then I'm gonna take a really tiny liner brush. This one is by B Tools in 706. And I'm using Meron Cosmetics Paradise Glitter in the color Pastel Lavender, and I'm just dipping that into my Lit Cosmetics glue and just basically creating kind of like a liner for it. I'm just gonna stop midway and just flick off any glitter that kind of went astray there, and creating that, just sharpening the glitter. Then I'm gonna apply some mascara. This is their Rio by Benefit Cosmetics, and apply some falsies. I'm using Huda Beauty Lashes in Farrah, number 12. So moving on to the skin, I am starting off with my Marc Jacobs Coconut Water Primer, pressing it all over the skin in parts where I am mostly dry. I do have combination skin, so I like to double prime, and I will be following up with my Milk Makeup Blur Stick. I am just applying this on the center of my face where I have most of my pores and where I get oily throughout the day. This way my makeup holds nice and is hydrated at the same time. Next, I'm going to go in with my foundation. I am using Maybelline's Matte and Poreless in the shade 110. I like to apply it first with my fingers just to be able to control how much product I apply. I don't like to over apply foundation. Sometimes when we get cakey throughout the day, it is because we apply way too much full coverage foundation. If you guys need coverage, that's what concealer is for. Foundation is just to even out the skin tone. Then if you need any more coverage, then you can go ahead and go in with the concealer. I am using Marc Jacobs The Face 3 brush. It's one of my favorites to really blend and press that product in. Like I said, I like my skin to look like skin, so I like to press the product in as opposed to buffing. I do have texture on my skin, like pores, so pressing it in, it works a lot better for me. Next, I'm gonna go in with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Vanilla. I like to apply this in the center of the face and under the eyes. When I go under the eyes, as you can see, I like to really sharpen that wing that we created earlier, just to clean it up and give that I'll cut you, look. Because if we're not threatening with our makeup, then what are we doing, right? Using the creamy concealer is going to help brighten the center of the face, and it's going to give the face a nice three-dimensional look, which is what we want to achieve with makeup. I'm going to go in with my Real Technique sculpting brush. This is my favorite brush to press in my concealer just because it's so dense. So again, I like to press in my product as opposed to buffing because I do have texture. So to add depth to the face, I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation in the shade Shadow. And this is going to act as my contour basically. So I apply this everywhere, under my cheekbones, up my forehead, the temples, and definitely down the neck, just to create balance. And then of course I like to contour my nose a little bit. So using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, I like to blend my contour. And as you can see, I'm holding back some of the baby hairs in my hairline because I make sure that the blending goes almost into my scalp. Again, I don't like people to really see where my makeup ends and starts, so I make sure the blending is as precise as it can possibly be. I like to ombre my contour. If you can see, there's a little bit more depth by the ear as opposed to if you go a little higher. I'm gonna start setting my contour with the Laura Mercier Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder in number 3, and this is also going to add some warmth. I really like to set it with this specific powder and not a matte powder. This is more like a baked powder, just because it's gonna give a nice glow and make the skin look like skin. Our skin is not 100% matte. So following up with the Laura Mercier translucent powder to set the rest of my concealer, and of course I'm blending it down the neck as well. And I'm gonna apply my blush. This one is by MAC. I don't know the shade. I've had it for a while, so the name was erased. But I'm applying it to the apples of my cheeks and then blending it back. It's a really nice pink tone color and it's gonna balance out well with the eyes. I like to take my blush up to my temples as well, just because when we actually blush, we don't only blush on our cheeks, we blush everywhere. So this is going to create a nice balance. Then I'm going to go back with my foundation brush, no extra product, and I'm just pressing it in to blend in the contour and the blush together. So for my highlight, I am taking Cover FX Cover Enhancer drops in the shade Halo, and I'm mixing them with my Marc Jacobs Coconut Water Primer. This is gonna give me a better consistency when it comes to blending. I don't like to see where my highlight ends or starts, so mixing the cover drops with the water medium is gonna really help the blending process. I am also using a dry beauty blender because I don't want to compromise the opacity of the highlighter. Sometimes when we use a wet beauty blender, it shears out the product, so I want to make sure that we can still see the holographic effect the Cover FX drops have. To further enhance my highlight and make it a little bit more holographic, I use Inglot's ANC Pure Pigment Eyeshadow in the shade 112 with the Anastasia A23 brush. But it was a little bit too purple, so I went in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nicole Guerrero palette using the shade Forever Lit and just muted down a little bit that purple. And it gave it a really, really pretty holographic look. So now I'm taking again my Real Techniques brush that I use for my concealer and just pressing it along my highlight so that all the edges are blended. Then I'm gonna take my blush again and my bronzer and just retouch so that it all blends seamlessly into each other. I don't know if you guys can tell, but blending for me is life. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just apply highlight to the brow bone as well to give it a nice lift. Now I'm going in with an all reliable. This is the NYX Milk Pencil. and I'm just dotting it in my inner corner and lightly blending it with my pinky using a MAC 219 and that Pure Pigment eyeshadow by Inglot that we use for a highlight, as well as the Nicole Guerrero palette. I'm using the same shades to highlight my inner corner. Now we're gonna smoke out that lower lash line. I am using Urban Decay's 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Deep End and my Sigma E20 brush. This is one of my favorite brushes. We're gonna be creating kind of like a double wing here, and I like to do this right after my concealer just because if we're smoking anything out, it's gonna transition nicely into the skin as opposed to doing the concealer after you're smoking out the lower lash line. Sometimes you end up getting a clean edge as opposed to a smoky one. So I'm just taking that E20 and just smoking out the liner. I am using a shadow. I'm using that Inglot shadow that we used on the lid in number 24 to set that liner. And I am going to deepen that lower lash line as well with that blue number 37 eyeshadow. Then I'm gonna open and brighten my eye using Makeup Forever Aqua XL pencil in M92. It's just a really nice lavender shade. Then I'm gonna coat my lower lash line using Omega Lash by Marc Jacobs in the shade number 60. So for my lipstick, I'm using another Old Reliable. I started using a Beadelium Tools. The brush is number 711 to apply the lipstick, but it was too small for my lips. So I just went in with the lipstick. This one is a Max Heroin. I'm sure you all know about it. And I went back with the brush to just crispen out the, is that even a word? Crispen out, whatever. You know what I mean, to crisp the edges of my lip. You can see here that I am filming this video. Can you guys guess what genre of music I'm listening to? I'm Latina, by the way, so if you guys know, put it in the comment section below. I'm all up in my feels. Now I'm going to take my Sigma E25 and an Inglot shadow in 71 to create kind of like an ombre effect in the center of my lips. Then I'm going to add that same eyeshadow we added to the center of our liner, number 39 by Inglot, and create kind of again like a nice satin finish. And I'm going to coat my lips with Graftobian's Glitter Gram Liquid Skin Sparkle. It's a glitter in Ravishing Rose. Adding my last details, this is the Ready Set Brow by Benefit Cosmetics. It's my favorite brow gel. And then setting everything with this Scandinavia Oil Control setting spray. This is an amazing setting spray. It really does hold your makeup all day. I'm now checking for symmetry, making sure everything is perfect. And we're done, honey. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. This was my first YouTube video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share with your family, your friends, your enemies, your frenemies. I would really appreciate all of your support. My name is Yoli. My Instagram is @Artistry Undefined. And I hope you learned something from me. If you did, please mention it in the comment section below. I will see you in the next video. Hasta la later.